Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you for joining me for this all levels energizing yoga flow. So this would be a great flow to do in the morning or maybe on your lunch break, just any time that you feel you want to get the energy moving in the body. We will be stretching, strengthening, balancing and increasing our awareness throughout the practice. So hopefully leaving you with a sense of feeling energized but also grounded by the end of the flow. So we're going to start by coming into a comfortable seated position. That could be cross-legged or it could be legs out in front. Just make sure that you're comfortable, and then bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. And we'll start to close down the eyes or take a steady gaze. And see if you can start to feel your breath moving. Tracing where your breath travels to within your body. Take a deep inhale, imagine drawing the breath down into the belly, letting the belly expand. And exhale, let the belly naturally draw back in. So inhale, belly's expanding with your breath. And exhale, drawing back in. You can imagine this like a balloon filling up with air on the inhale, getting bigger and bigger. And then on the exhale, the balloon's getting smaller and smaller again. And start to notice the connection between your hands and these areas of the body. Noticing your own sense of touch. And begin to soften your shoulders, your face. Notice anything that's there for you today. And just trusting throughout this practice that you're on your own perfect journey. In your yoga practice, outside of your yoga practice. So you can't get this wrong. Release the hands, let them come down into the lap, and we'll take a releasing breath. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. It's coming like a big sigh. So inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. And start to open the eyes now if you had them closed. Bring the fingers together, interlace the fingers, start to take a couple of circles with the wrists. So we're going to go round in one direction, just come back in the other direction as well. Notice any little clicks or pops. Notice any restrictions. Holding space for whatever's there. Doesn't matter what shows up. And release. Float the hands down to the ground beside you, or behind you I should say. And then bring the soles of your feet down to the mat, a little bit further than hip width apart, so wide. Let your knees drop over to the right. Inhale here, and as you exhale, fold over that right leg. Inhale, lift the chest, come away from the fold. Continue to walk your hands over to the right, finding a twist. Option here is to come down onto the forearms, maybe dropping the head. Breathing here. ground into the hands, unravel. So you can either use your hands as support with these movements, or you can bring them back to heart center and see how it feels to bring yourself back to center and then drop the legs over to the left. Inhale first, exhale, folding over the left leg. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, twisting a little bit more, so hands walking towards the back of the room. Maybe you come down onto the forearms, maybe you drop the head. Notice how that feels. No need to force anything. Start to lift back up. Hands can either be grounded or at heart center. Come back through the middle. And we'll go once more on each side. So inhale, creating space. Exhale, folding over the right leg. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, twisting. Come down onto the forearms if that feels good too. That's not going to feel good for everyone. Lift back up. Option for hands to come to heart center will be on the ground. Come over to the left. No worries if you're moving off your mat. Take your fold forwards. Lift the chest back up. Find your twist. Option to come down onto the forearms. Lift the head, lift the chest, come back to center. Well done. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop out to the side for our Baddha Konasana position. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Make space across the chest. Exhale, fold forwards. See how it feels to bring your fingertips down to connect with the ground. And see if you can find some little movements with your breath here, maybe a bit of an undulation with the spine. So what I mean by that is see how it feels on your inhale for the shoulders to lift first, then the head. Exhale, heart melts down, then the head drops. So inhale, imagine your shoulder blades lifting first, then the head. Exhale, heart melts down, head melts down. So you've got this rippling effect through the spine, especially through the thoracic spine and the cervical part of the spine, the mid and the upper back. So starting to mobilize, get things moving, get that energy moving. Last one. On your next inhale, coming back up to center, come away from the fold. Draw the knees in together and we'll move into tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, and on your exhale, lift your hips to the sky, find downward facing dog. Start to pedal out through the feet. Take any juicy movements that feel good here. So I'm giving you a little bit of free movement, exploration here in your downward facing dog. So think about what movements feel good, feel nourishing. Where do you feel like you can give a little bit of attention to today in your practice? Coming back to stillness in your downward dog. On the inhale, really lift the heels away from the mat. As you exhale, draw them back down. Doesn't matter how far down they come. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, draw them back down. One more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, draw them back down. On your next inhale, look between the hands. Step the feet in. Hang down in your forward fold. Option to walk the hands underneath the feet. Start to shift the weight around, maybe letting the feet massage the hands massage back into the feet, keeping as much softness in the legs here as you need to. Having a little bit of an explore here. maybe swaying or rocking. Keep allowing that head to hang heavy. Let it go. And then release the hands from underneath the feet. Inhale with a rounded spine, start to curl the body up. So we're going to lift the head up last. So peeling everything up as you lift. And finally we're lifting the head. Take a big shoulder roll, let the shoulder blades run down your back. Take another releasing breath here. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Letting it go. So when we do audible breaths, when we breathe out through the mouth, maybe it's like a sigh. This is a really good way to release stress, to boost your mood. So there's therapeutic benefits to doing this, even if it's not something that you're used to. Press into all four corners of your feet, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up. Exhale, float down to your forward fold. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs to the shins or the thighs. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step or jump the feet back to plank. Flow through your version of Chaturanga, inhaling into an upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment to pause, breathe. On your next inhale, sweep the right leg up to find a three-leg dog. Going to try and keep the hips square in your three-leg dog, so not opening the hips, just seeing where that leg wants to go to. Doesn't matter how far away or close it still is to the mat. Start to send your gaze between the hands, step the right leg through. Bring your back left heel down, so the side of your left foot's in line with the side of the mat, and windmill the arms to open out to a right side warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Breath here, sending the gaze over the right fingertips. And then we'll bring the hands into heart center, find a wide leg position, toes point forwards. Inhale, lifting, creating space. As you exhale, fold forwards. Prasarita Padottanasana. Let the hands float down to maybe the ground or blocks, or you can keep them at the heart. Then with this left hand, we're going to ground the left hand or take it to your block. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up. Follow with the gaze, finding a twist. Either's just staying here, or you're going to pivot the right toes out slightly towards the corner of your mat. Bend into your right leg. Maybe you can find a right side Skandasana. Could be working up here for your Skandasana. So again, listening to the body, what feels like the right movements for you to take. Well done. And seeing if from here you can come back up, this time pointing both toes out towards the corners of the mat. Inhale here, exhale, bend into the legs, find Goddess. Sinking those hips down. Hands are still in heart center. Maybe you can find a little shift from side to side, a little pulse. Imagine the pelvis drawing up and in towards the body, strong in line of energy. And start to release from your Goddess. Windmill the arms around to frame that front foot. Step it back to plank. Flow through your Chaturanga. Inhale into an upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale back to your downward facing dog. Always option for a child's pose. Tuning in, remembering that kind of intention that we set at the beginning of the practice, which is remembering that we're all on our own perfect journey. Honoring that. Inhale, sweep the left leg up, find your three-leg dog. Keep the hips closed. If you're someone who's used to opening the hips in three-leg dog, this can often feel kind of strange. I know for me it's not my natural. Just notice how it feels for you. And then we'll bring the left foot through, place it between the hands or in that direction, and draw your right heel down to the mat. And the side of the right foot's in line with the side of the mat. Sweep the arms up, find warrior two, left side. Maybe sinking a little bit more into that left leg. Soften the shoulders. Notice how this feels. Open out to your wide leg stance. Start with the toes pointing forwards. Inhale here, and as you exhale, folding. Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands maybe come to blocks or to the ground. Right hand on a block or grounded. Inhale, sweep the left fingertips up, finding a twist. Remember to soften or bend the legs as much as you need to. This time, point those left toes out towards the corner of the mat a bit. See how it feels to bend into that left leg. Hands could come to heart center. They could support you on the ground. Find that left side Skandasana. See how it feels to come back to center. This time, toes are pointing out towards the corners of the mat. Inhale here, exhale, sink down into your goddess, bending the legs. Imagine your knees tracking over the toes, so let that opening take place into the hips. Maybe getting a little bit of movement here. Moving from side to side. Maybe some little pulses. Well done, and release. Float the arms around to frame your front foot. Step back to plank. Flow through your chaturanga. Inhale into your upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Press the mat away with your hands. From here, drop your knees down so you're in tabletop position. And on your exhale, sit your hips back towards your heels, find a child's pose. On your inhale, start to lift the hips away from the heels, and as you do so, imagine your shoulder blades are lifting up towards the ceiling. Head stays dropped, so we're rounded like a cat position. And then come all the way through, shifting the shoulders forwards, let the hips drop down. Eventually lifting the head, so we're now in an upward facing dog, or you could be lower down in a cobra, bending into the arms as much as you need to. So be mindful of how that feels in your body. So we're going to float back from here to our child's pose. So see how it feels to lift the hips. Slowly with control, float them back towards the heels for child's pose. And then begin to lift the shoulders, keep the head dropped, rounding the spine. So rolling forwards, eventually hips drop down towards the mat, maybe arms soften a little bit, head lifts. So maybe finding a little bit more fluidity now, hips reaching back, find your child's pose. Then rounding the spine, shoulder blades, imagine them lifting, floating back to your cobra or your upward dog. Last one, float the hips back towards the heels for child's pose. And then roll it forwards with control, finding your upward facing dog or cobra position. So whichever one you've gone for. Pausing here now, start to send your gaze over the right shoulder. Really gentle, soft movement. Take the gaze back out in front. Start to look over the left shoulder. Come back to center, bend into the arms, lower everything down so you're lying on your front. Well done. Reach your right arm out to the right side. Press your left hand into the mat and roll onto your right side until the legs are stacked. Option to bend this left leg. Maybe that left leg floats out behind, but that's just an option. Let your head relax and come down to rest on the ground. Scan into the right shoulder, the heart space. Reconnect with your breath. Start to roll back onto your belly. Take it onto the other side. So reach your left arm out. Right hand's going to press into the ground and help to roll you onto that left side. Either working here or maybe the right leg bends. Maybe it reaches down and out behind. Let your head relax to the ground, or you can pop a cushion under it. Just take any support that your body needs. See if you can start to bring some awareness back to your exhales, your out breaths. Maybe allowing them to become a little bit longer. Really fully breathing out on your exhale, emptying all the air. Amazing. Start to roll back onto your front, coming back to center. Let your hands become a pillow for your head. Rest your head down. Close the eyes or take a steady gaze and gently wiggle the hips from side to side. And then keeping the eyes closed if that feels good too. Start to bend in your right leg. Maybe that right hand can find the right foot, drawing it in towards the hips, finding a quad stretch. And remember that you don't have to force anything here. Release the right leg, bend the left leg in, maybe the left hand finds the left foot. Release the left foot. And seeing if you can keep your eyes closed if you can. From here, start to gently make your way back to a comfortable seated position on the mat. Just remember, it doesn't matter what way you're facing when you come up. Just intuitively moving your body, seeing how you want to move to get there, using your sense of touch, connection to the ground to bring you back. Bring the palms of the hands together once you're there, and tap the hands down to connect with the ground. So to close off this practice, just honouring being in the present moment and acknowledging that we are all on our own journey. Opening the eyes back up when you're ready, coming back into your space. Thank you so much for joining me for that energizing yoga class. I hope that you found that beneficial and enjoyable. Do comment feedback to me on how you're getting on. Link below to connect with me in other ways and to see what other things I offer. Do subscribe if you haven't already, it's completely free, and I really can't wait to flow with you again really soon. Take care.